Did you hear that last note? This is what I call the bass stack. This is one of the most interesting parts of this track that I made. Let me show you what I mean. The bass stack is made up of 5 different instruments. The main bass, it plays like the main body of the bass, so that it feels more full as it goes along. Then we have the first bounce. It provides a good bit of energy towards each of the other basses and the beat as a whole. Then we have the second one. This is a bit higher than the first bounce, which allows it to fill up 2 different parts of your ear. Listen. And as you hear, at the very end, this begins to go down. Let me show you where. Right here, I have these 2 little MPEs. Sorry, 3 little MPE curves, we'll call them. You've got one going down bed, but call it an octave. Next one 2 octaves, and the final one is 4 octaves. So when you play it, just by itself, it goes down. So it sounds like it's decaying almost. Then, when we get to the main part, we have 2 more basses added to the mix. This one, and then this one. Now, if you're looking, you will see that these 2 notes are actually playing one after the other, like a call and response. If I solo just these, you'll hear it a good bit better. Sounds like one's almost falling behind the other, like it's trying to catch up. And I thought that was a pretty interesting dynamic to go for the second half of the drop. So if you listen to the end of the first part and the start of the second half, it provides a bit of energy and a bit of bounce. Now, another part that you might have heard at the start is this. I'll go a bit further on. While I was making it, somebody said it sounded like the main instrument that you'd hear in the song Bike by Changer, which honestly, I'm happy to be compared to. Guys are great at this. So, this instrument, it's an instrument called Synplant 2. And that's what makes up the majority of these instruments, except for the ones which I'll go over later. And I called this one Escape Firewall Lead, because I went through so many iterations of this Geno patch thing, and I just kind of let it do its work. I'll put in, like, if I go down here, this reverb water drop sound effect from the Kashmir pack. I put that in here and ended up with pretty much the lead for the whole song, which sounds like this. A bit metallic, a bit digital. Sounds really nice for the track. So if I were to play this alongside the bass stack, right now it doesn't sound like all too much, because there's another thing that we're missing. This is the instrument that plays at the very start of the song, the first one you hear. This is a bit crushed loop, and what I did to it was I stretched it out by double its original length. Even though it says auto BPM, there's always a BPM to it. And then once it went down the first time, I stacked it with another version of itself. Now this one has a bit more effects on it. The original Bit Crush, this sound, only has the thing I used to make it rise up, which is Origin by Cymatics, and my mixing tool. But this version of it, this version has 5 effects on it. The one that makes it rise up, this effect called Cymatics Dark Sky, this effect, Cymatics Deja Vu, to make it sound like it's being played slower than it actually is, and a bit of Cymatics Diablo Light, just for a little bit more crunch to it, as I was calling it during production. Then, this is what this sounds like on its own. Which provides a good, nice bit of almost like detail to the original one layered on top of it. It really sounds a bit crushed to and back. So now if I add this on top of the basses and the original lead, now it's starting to come together. But it's missing a bit of that energy. So I added just a simple drum kick at the drop. Both of these were samples sent to me by a friend, so I have no clue where he sourced them from, but honestly, I think it sounds pretty good. And this provides a good bit of energy to the track, so if I play this alongside everything, and now it's got a bit of a groove to it. And now when it comes with groove, you also need to have your risers and your sweeps. I'm a big fan of the ones from the Kashmir pack because they're just so easy to use. Literally just plug and play. So now, if I combine these with the kicks and the snares, as well as the bass and the lead, now it's really got a bit of energy to it. But now I've got this. This is the same reverb pluck that I used to make the lead, but this time I have it by itself. And I play that throughout the song as almost like a substitute for an open hi-hat, because it gives the track a bit more like flesh, could you call it? So everything without it now sounds like this. And now everything's starting to come together. But there's one instrument that if I didn't add, I don't think the track would be nearly as good. And that is this instrument by Clevgrand called Ting. I was messing around with the presets in it because it sounded like, you know, just a nice, interesting kind of like percussion sample set. When I found this one, I'm going to solo it, and here's what it sounds like. That single instrument kind of defined the whole feel of the song. Despite all of this, all these synths and everything else, it sounded like a drum and bass song at its core. And while it is still that, this single instrument turned it from a regular drum and bass song to something more chaotic. Let me go pull up the MIDI for it and you can see what I mean. Most of the track is just these these notes repeated. If I were to take them out, sure, there's stuff left in there, but if I go play the beat drop without it, it still feels like there's something missing. But when you have these notes in it, so that is the whole breakdown for the track that I made called Escaping the Firewall. It exists here on YouTube as well as on Spotify, Apple Music, pretty much any streaming service you can think of. And now I'm going to shorten these things down and I'm going to let you listen to the full track as it was intended to be listened to. I do hope that you enjoy. Just gotta go to the start. That's not the start at all.